disappointed in myself. I just shot 3 videos on the same, kept having mistakes. So I'm going to try to slow down just a little bit and do another one. So I had some plans that I was just using, and I pulled a measurement off of there because I wanted to show an accurate dimension for what you would find on a building plan. It was I forget what they call it, a long front to back house. The long axis is perpendicular to the street. I guess they call that a bodega, I think. But anyway, so if you had your 2 plates, you got your double plate top, or I messed up. You got your top plate and your double top plate here. Then you have your bottom plate. Okay, there we go. Bottom plate. I'm like, what the heck am I? So here would be a bottom plate, top plate, double top plate. And normally what happens is your lead framer will come and, like, here's your deck, right? That's the exterior walls there. The lead framer you'll snap your lines. Let's just say that's the first line that gets snapped. He'll come and he'll detail a window here, put the center, maybe even mark the edges. Or when you snap lines, he might give you that and you mark the edges. I think that's a waste of time. If you have your sawhorses out here on your deck, and you have all your bottom plate, your plates are all stacked on the sawhorses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have, say these are 3 foot. I'm going to have at like 2.5 a small table here for my plans underneath. That's my plans. Where I can see below. They're going to get covered in sawdust, but you can blow it off with the saw. That's where all my measurements are going to be. So what I'm going to do is, now I had, for the measurement I pulled, it was 40 and 11 inches. And that was going to be assuming a long wall that was going to lap over, the double top plate was going to lap over a smaller wall. Okay. And so basically what I did is I pulled I added 7 extra inches for the lap. So that lap is going to start on right here. Okay. So my layouts are going to start at the point where the wall this wall would begin. The wall that would be here. So then I have I'm just going to make up 16, 32, 48, whatever those layouts are. I don't remember all the numbers off the top of my head. So that's the layout. And then, of course, I have my plan, so I can go from here and I can find out where my center from a window is. I can put in my jacks and my kings. I can lay that stuff out. I can lay any wall intersections, put in a T. And there's I haven't done anything. I haven't bent over. I haven't walked over here to this plate or to this line, bent over and wrote any measurements on this line at all. All I'm doing is marking the plates up here on the sawhorses. So I'm standing here, and maybe I have a helper here, hold my tape measure and stuff. That would be pretty efficient. And I'm laying out the double top plate only. So what I do is, that's 40 feet right there, right? So let's say here I am, here's my 16-inch piece. What I'm going to do, let me try to make this a little bit more. So here's my piece. And here's the sawhorses underneath. Okay? So I'm going to hook this and I'm going to measure this piece. And let's say it's 16.25, because usually they're about 3/8 to 1/4, half-inch longer than the actual measurement that they are nominated to be. But you need to know exactly what it is, because the next piece that you mark next to it, you're going to put your tape measure. So say I measured 16.25. I'm going to let all that 16.25 is going to be burned. It's going to hang over right here. and then I'm going to measure this next piece. That's 32. So I haven't made it to 40 and 11 yet. So my next piece, so 32, and then what did I say, a 16? So 32, so it's 42. So 48 pieces. This will add up to 48-ish. It'll be a little over 48. So whatever that measurement was here will be 32 and a half or whatever. Then I'll go back over here. I'll put 32 and a half. I'll burn 32 and a half. And then I'll pull the tape out until I get to 40 and 11. So it's going to be probably here. And that's where I'm going to make my cut. So this piece, and this piece all add up to 40 and 11. Now, from here, I'm going to come back 3.5 because that's where it's going to lap over the other wall, correct? So as I've pulled my tape, I've been marking those 16, I've been marking these layouts because this plate here is probably going to be about here, right? Now, if there's a situation where you have to break a certain distance away from your king studs or your headers, that you got to keep that in mind. So if I have to go 2 feet from my king or something, I've got to, I pull my tape to, if I know my king is at, I don't know, 15 feet or something like that, I've got to come back and break it at 13, so 13, this one I'll measure 13, and then I've got to put 13 here and then go from there. So that makes sense. But if that's not the case and you just have these plates, so now this plate's laid out with all the 16-inch markings. It's laid out with the windows, and it's laid out with the T's or whatever I need in that plate. I can give it to my framer and say, okay, here's the line. Here's the let me erase this. Here's the corner of the building. That's the exterior, right? Here's your chalk line. And I'm like, hey, here's this first plate. It's going to end up going here. So it's going to be, it's going to lap over right there. It's running long. So that means he needs to cut plates to go, his top and bottom plate are going to go down below. And of course, he's got to make it stagger differently. So he's got to cut one here, and then this one, the bottom plate can go along the other way. Well, it'll be a little bit out there. But he can do that, or the cut man can do that. But all you're doing as a lead framer is laying it out. So the cut man could be on this side, and you could be on this side. And he's helping you pull these measurements. But once you're done with that measurement, it's in his hands. Or you can have the saw out here for your framer and let him cut those plates. Once he gets them cut, now he can transfer everything over with the speed square, and he can start framing. He can get his helper to lay out, get separate the plates and get all those studs in. To me, that is the absolutely most efficient way, because the measurements are all coming from the plans. There's no measuring in place or getting finish outs or any of that. Once you determine the double top plate, one more thing to add to that, you're going to get your rafters. So that layout's the wall layout goes on the bottom, the rafter layout goes on the top. So whatever it is, if it's 2 foot or whatever, that needs to be on there, because you're wasting time if you get up on a ladder and start marking those rafters. That's an unbelievable waste of time right there. I mean, people still do it, and I've never understood it, but time is money, like they say, and the faster this stuff gets done, the better. Take a little more time, put more information on your double top plate. I see people lay out the top and the bottom plates. Why not just do one plate and then give it to the guy below you? You've already given him everything he needs to know to but to frame this wall. If he got to know any more information after that, you may have to teach him this method, but he should not have to know anything else. You've given all the technical knowledge that he needs. And if he can't do that after 3 or 4 times of showing him this method, yeah, that's kind of a problem. for a framer. But try this method and refine it your own way, and let me know. I'm just trying to save everybody money.